In high school alone, there's a sizable amount of pressure put on students because of the competitive nature in today's society, thus forcing the demands of a high school student to surpass the time available in a day, and disrupts the balance of other areas of life. Keeping a balance between basic health demands, academics, and social relationships ends up presenting serious challenges. Since the expectations for high school students are so great, high-achieving students are forced to compromise essential parts of their lives in order to maintain routine expectations.
Peyton Lang is a perfect example of a student with an overloaded schedule. We followed her around for a day to capture every aspect of her busy life. She leaves the house by 4:30 and heads to her first swim practice of the day.
With busy schedules and not enough time in the day, many students find it difficult to find time for something they need the most, sleep. According to Nationwide Children, most teens are very sleep deprived. Sleep deprivation has a major impact on students, affecting their behaviors and decision-making choices. We sat down with Mrs. Dunn, AP Language and Composition teacher at East Campus, to hear what she has to say about the choices students make and the consequences they have.
I think it takes a basic level of understanding what's the future consequences of my action, which historically and cognitively, teenagers aren't quite ready to think about what's the future consequences of my action. And that involves a lot of time management. I mean, to decide, like, do I want to take 15 minutes right now to work on AP Lang and Comp, or do I want to play a video game? A teen will more likely choose the video game because the consequences of the future action isn't crystallized for them in their brain. So I think physiologically, most teenagers are not ready to take that step.
Following a 5 a.m. swim practice, Peyton stops for coffee and heads into school.
Along with the competitiveness of colleges, the amount of stress parents put on their kids is high, as well as the stress they feel from their peers and from themselves. Mr. Boshin agrees that students are put under extreme amounts of stress and that they find it hard to find a balance between everything going on in their lives.
Pressure can look different. Pressure for a lot of our high achieving kids to take the hardest schedule possible. And so I think that there is this kind of atmosphere where people are trying to keep up as opposed to, taking courses that challenge themselves. I know that parents want students to get a job and to do these extracurricular activities and to be well-rounded, and I think with a limited amount of time in the day and all of these demands, students get pulled in a lot of different directions.
After surveying students at McHenry East High School, we found that 83% said that they were involved in activities inside and outside of school. Dr. Carl Valianatos also believes that students involved in many activities have to sacrifice in other areas of their lives.
Sometimes we see students that they'll take a study hall because they value their 5 nights a week of sports plus the job that they have to do on the weekends. We see students that maybe forego having jobs and they have a supportive a family life that kind of permits that, so that they can have all of those academic courses because they have college and career goals as well.
According to the National Sleep Foundation, teens need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night to function best, but one study found that only 15% reported sleeping 8.5 hours on school nights. Students don't get enough sleep each night for a few reasons. School start times, along with varying amounts of homework each night, can be to blame. Teens also tend to have irregular sleep patterns across the week. They typically stay up late and sleep in on the weekends, which can affect their biological clocks and hurt the quality of their sleep. This all leads to unusual sleep patterns, which can have a negative effect on students. When interviewing McHenry students, we found that over half sacrifice their well-being over taking away from their academics and social lives. This can be to blame for a lack of time management skills and the pressure of today's society. Delaney Wellington is a prime example of a student who gives up sleep to balance her life.
Last year, I think I got an average of 4 hours every night, and it was terrible. 4 hours of sleep, not a good idea.
After acupressure and her second swim practice of the day, Peyton returns home at 9 p.m. When she gets home, she has to eat dinner, do her homework, along with other daily expectations. Like other students, Peyton loses time with her family due to her busy schedule.
I think I keep up with my schedule because I know that in the long run it's definitely going to be worth it. Even though sometimes it is challenging, sometimes I don't want to get out of bed, sometimes I don't want to have to go to swim practice, or my mom and I will get into arguments about how I do miss out on things and that I want to go be with my friends, but I know that that's not where I need to be at the time and that I need to focus on the future and what's more important.
Sometimes it's really hard for me to keep pushing her in that direction. We don't even have a really home-based life a lot of times because she's gone so much. So I can literally go an entire day and only see her for 20 minutes a day, and that's really hard.
That time for yourself away on what you want to do, and so just, pursuing my hobbies that I like to do, or just relaxing, not thinking about everything.
High school is an extremely busy time for teenagers. It is important for students to learn time management skills to reach their goals and be successful. Although it may seem like we are giving up a lot now, the sacrifices we make will better our lives in the future.